Here in the Valley, health workers have given thousands of tests, and hospital officials say they're preparing for the worst. Our Kenesha Dees has the latest.
Madison County Commissioner Chairman Dale Strong joined Huntsville leaders during today's briefing on the coronavirus.
That the greatest increase of positive cases are occurring in Madison, Limestone, Jackson, and Morgan. This is reason to be sure that people continue to sanitize and separate.
Huntsville Hospital CEO David Spillers says about more than 3,000 COVID-19 tests have been conducted in North Alabama.
The number of people who are being tested positive is really a small percentage of the people we're testing, and that's a good thing.
At this time, he says the hospital has eliminated elective surgeries. The hospital also making room for a potential wave of infected patients.
Probably have or could create 500 additional beds.
He says beds are the least of their problems.
At some point, beds aren't the limiting factor. Supplies and staff are the limiting factor. And that's the other thing we're trying to work on is how do we staff all these additional beds if we ever need them.
Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.
The drive-through coronavirus testing clinic in Huntsville will not be open on Monday. The clinic at John Hunt Park will be closed because of a lack of testing supplies. If collection kit supplies are sufficient, then the clinic may reopen by Tuesday morning. But if you need to get tested Monday, Huntsville Hospital's fever and flu clinic is open at 9 a.m.